I probably should not do this, but fuck it. I kind of want to get this off my chest, which is, Kenobi, the show that apparently is the worst thing since Jay from Red Letter Media came into this world. Yeah, it probably sucks. It would not. I don't watch it for the record. I have stopped watching anything made by Disney after Mandalorian season 2. I should scratch. I stopped watching anything Star Wars related. I gave Moon Knight a chance. I struggled to give a shit in those first few opening moments. So I am not watching anything Star Wars related. Just I'm trying to be principled here because I told people not to do this, and then I don't want to be a hypocrite and then go out and watch it myself while telling other people not to. And this isn't like a jab at like people like Geeks and Gamers or Ryan Kennel or anyone who does that. That's their shtick. Their shtick is commentating on that sort of stuff, so they kind of have to because that's kind of how they make their money. Like the reactionaries don't deserve any hate for that, as far as I'm concerned, but I did want to get this one thing off my chest, which is people act like Disney ruined Star Wars. I would say that's 75% accurate. I'm sorry, no. 90% accurate. I do kind of hold 10% of the blame on the fans and like the critics of the prequels in a way. Like, I don't blame them completely. Like, guys, if you were bitching about the prequels in the past, I'm not blaming you entirely for the state of Star Wars. That is more or less that Disney deserves most of the blame there. However, when you had disingenuous hipster dipshits like Ari Red Letter Media, who I hate watch, by the way. Like, I hate them, but they do occasionally say something I can agree with. Except for Jay. He only said one thing I agree with. The rest of the time, I'm silently thinking to myself, catch on fire. Them, Chris Stuckman, who was a hipster cunt if I ever saw one. And then Jeremy Johns. Although Jeremy Johns, I will kind of defend here because he at least had the balls to at least say he was sorry for how he treated George because he doesn't like the way Star Wars is now, and he can at least recognize that he was a dick. I doubt Chris Stuckman or Red Letter Media ever apologized in their videos, which I'm not asking them for the record. I don't want them to do anything because, quite frankly, I find them insufferable by just merely existing. I have no idea why. But anyway, if you have a problem with the way Star Wars is now, I do think you should be directing some of your ire towards the people who said stuff like George Lucas raped our childhood. And this isn't to say I was a prequel defender. I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't aware of the goat fuck of a debate that was going on about it after those came out. I liked them for the most part. Especially episode 3. That one left me stunned and haunted in a way. Especially the scene where Mace Windu got disarmed. Like, at the time, it shocked and scared me. Now, given my hate boner for Mace Windu, I'm kind of glad Anakin did it. But, yeah, it's just... So the ones who said, like, he raped our child and just constantly badgered and bitched about the prequels and probably helped to cultivate that anti-Lucas narrative and among the Star Wars community. Fuck y'all for the state of Star Wars, because I do blame you in a way. I especially blame the dipshits who made that the People versus George Lucas documentary, which I still need to watch because I hate them, but I should probably watch it. I would prefer to pirate it, though, I'm not going to lie, because anything that doesn't give them money is a win for me. And yes, I encourage sailing the 7 seas at this point. But, yeah. And I don't blame all Star Wars fans for those state of Star Wars, for the record. Just the ones who are dipshits and just entitled little cunts about it. Like, I had this conversation with, I think it was Naz. I was actually not even going to do this video, but then they encouraged me to, so I should just say what I think. And I'm going to do that, so fuck the consequences. I don't care if I lose subscribers. I want to speak my mind on this. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, yeah. So you said stuff like that over a fucking movie. He didn't ruin your childhood. They and Star Wars fans get blamed for weird stuff. Like they say we harassed Jake Lloyd, I think was his name, the guy who played Anakin as a kid in the first film. No, we didn't do that. I'm pretty sure I wasn't doing that. From what I hear, it was more of stuff going on with kids at his school. Kids being kids, assholes. Like kids are vicious. Animals. If they were adults, I'd be glad with knocking them out cold. They said that we weren't respectful to the guy Ahmed Best, I think is his name, the guy who played Jar Jar. For the record, I had no problem with Jar Jar either. I liked him. Like he seemed like a relaxed, likable character. The only prequel film I could kind of see some legitimate criticism of is Episode 2, and just barely. Just fucking barely. The writing probably needed some tweaking. Like, I often hear people say George Lucas is an idea guy. He's not a writer. He's an idea guy. So, like, you could maybe fault the movie for that, I guess. But anyway, Ahmed Best. People thought he was a racist depiction of Jamaicans, weirdly enough. To which I can only say, any Jamaicans who felt offended, what the fuck was wrong with you at the time? I didn't hear any yamans when Jar Jar was talking. And the fact that Jar Jar Abrams is called Jar Jar Abrams is an insult to Jar Jar Binks as far as I'm concerned. Anyway. Just that whole anti-Lucas, like the cultivators of the anti-Lucas narrative, you kind of fucked us. You actually fucked over actual Star Wars fans who were okay with the prequels. Who weren't attention whores, basically. Which, yeah, Red Letter Media, I think you are attention whores. And Jay from Letter Media, if you happen to hear this, and I certainly hope you do, go fuck yourself for what you said about Lovecraft. But, yeah. It's just, that was stupid. So if you are if you were someone who defended the prequels or were on the fence about them, feel free to complain about Kenobi. Because how we get treated, the shit we have to put up with, is uncalled for. And the fact that we get called racist and sexist, which, depending on my mood, could be true. I mean, I do like to fuck with people. But the fact we get called that, which is a horrible thing to be called by, like right up there with being called a Nazi. I don't hate Rey because she's a woman. I hate because she sucked. Just like I hate Captain Marvel because Brie Larson also sucked, from what little I know of that stupid movie she was in. And, yeah, I think that's as far as I want to take it. It's just, that's my opinion on the state of Star Wars, basically. Like, although I will say this, the sequel trilogy did succeed in one thing. It got people to finally shut up about the prequels. Even Jeremy Jahns had to admit this. Time has softened the perception and redeemed the prequels in the fans' eyes. Which I'm glad, because those films did not deserve the shit they got. Especially Episode 3. That fight scene at the end was just perfecto as far as I'm concerned. Like, that was... And I also like the fact that George Lucas tried so many different things with that movie. Like, he tried to emulate the silent film performances. He tried... I want to say Errol Flynn, like, the opening scene where the two battleships are fighting is supposed to be taken from, like, galley fights from old films that Lucas saw as a kid. Anyway, yeah, it did not deserve the shit it got. So Star Wars fans who were assholes about it, you were dicks. And you do deserve the state of Star Wars. And those of us who weren't dicks, we do not deserve the shit we get. And to those of you who say they were objectively bad films, okay, well, I'm going to need more than you just saying that. So your opinion does not matter to me. Like, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them. And the people whose opinions that the prequel sucked usually turn out to be hipster dipshits that I couldn't respect even if you paid me to. The Disney method, basically. And yeah, that's about it. Although I also want to point out, I do like the fact that it was on. Another good thing about the sequel trilogy is at least it got me to where I now buy stuff from the old EU. I buy anything I can get my hands on from the old EU because that stuff was actual entertainment. The stuff made by Disney, I wouldn't wipe my ass with it. That's how little I think it has merit. Anyway, I think that's where I'll end it. That's just my opinion on the matter. If you disagree with me, you're free to disagree with me. Hell, I don't even agree with everything I said on this for the record. This is me just getting something off my chest. And I expect to get 7 shades of shit for it. Which I encourage. If you disagree with me, make your feelings known. If you made it this far in the video or audio. But, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the start.